What up, people? It's your boy, Master Chudy, out here with another DC animated movie review. So, I just got to watching Batman The Longest Halloween Part 1. And, just to go with some advice that somebody gave me my last DC review film, I don't think I'll do spoilers for this film. This is just going to be my review of it, and I'm going to break it down um, how I see fit, basically. But, long story short, it's a good adaptation. It's a great film. And I would encourage you all to read the comic as well as watch this film because it's done very well. Um, and I'm going to break it down in terms of how I felt by the plot, the voice acting, and the good, the bad, and the other aspects, the nerdy aspects. But let's get into it. Um, the plot is fairly simple, and it moves along very well. You get to see, Bruce Wayne really in his element. And that's Batman in his element. That's one thing that this film does very well. You get to see Batman as a detective, and the plot moves, of course, very linearly, moves very well, doesn't move too fast. It allows you to absorb everything. And what's interesting is that the film itself kind of goes in acts, or in this case, a little bit of a spoiler warning. If you have read the comic, then you know that it goes by the different holidays that happens in the day, and we really see the characters, progress as well. Of course, you see Bruce kind of. We don't really see a lot of Bruce Wayne character per se. We see a lot of Batman, and Batman here is done very well. This is clearly one that you can see um, where he's still starting out, where he's still fairly young. Given that Gordon is also somewhat fairly young. We see his wife. We also get to see James and Barbara as children as well. So that goes to show you that this is just him starting out as well. Batman is very much in this element here. And, what's great about it is that he's a detective and he works as a detective like that. And it's very refreshing to see Batman as a detective and work at it. Um, in addition to that, we also get to see Harvey Dent as well, and they seem to borrow elements from the animated series, where this time Harvey Dent is not just a single ambitious man; he is married, but he's still you can say he's still ambitious as well, and we can see the darkness that takes him over beginning to have the seeds planted, which I thought was very well. You also see him try to you know balance his family life and his professional life. Much like in the animated series and even in the comics before his transformation, he's very much cleaning up Gotham. And you definitely get a lot of the Dark Knight Harvey Dent in this case. Of course, obviously the movie borrowed from the comics, but you get my point. It's very well. And what's interesting, as shown in the picture right here, is that Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent play off each other fairly well. They all have a good, cordial, professional relationship, and they bounce off ideas. They're really a team, and it's nice as well. Um, Another underrated part of this is that we see Catwoman in this, and she was enjoyable. We don't get to see her too much, but when she's on the screen, she's definitely Catwoman, and she owns her role. And it's very also refreshing to see her banter with Batman as well, and they also have very good chemistry, as you can see on that. One of the favorite aspects of this film that I also liked was the mob connections, the family, the whole mob interactions with the Maroni. You don't see much of Sal Maroni, of course, but he's there. But of course, it's the Falcone family, the Roman. Um, the Falcone, family is huge. We see the intricacies. We see, all of the things that affect them, and the dynamics with each member of the family. Antony, Roman Falcone. It's all very interesting and it keeps you engaged and everything like that. Well done, as in fact, and I believe that having sometimes the best villains in Batman are indeed the mob, because they're not just like usual gangsters. They know how to work a business and everything like that. Um, we don't see much of Batman's rogue gallery. Of course, the Joker is there, and the Joker was very good in it. I really like the Joker in this. One person that I didn't expect to like a lot in his short in his basically his only scene. He's only in for one scene. Is Calendar Man. I really liked his really liked him. I really liked him a lot. He definitely carried the scene that he was in, and it was done very well. So I really like that. Huh. We also get to see, Solomon Grundy in there as well, and he has a nice interaction as well. But it's really the mob that are the villains in this part one, and they all did a good job. You see the triads and everything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much for the characters. Actually, I know I said plot, but that was the characters mainly. The plot, like I said before, there's really not much to say. Um, it's to the point. It flows well. It works well. Of course, with every animated movie that they make based off the story, they take some liberties, but none of the liberties were terrible. In fact, I don't think there were a lot of liberties taken with this particular film. It was done very well. So the plot is very good. Let's get to the voice actors, of course, the main ones that is. So, if you didn't know, Jensen Ackles is the main guy who's voicing Batman, and we all know that he is known primarily in terms of VA in the Batman universe as Red Hood, and he did a fantastic Red Hood. Here, I thought he did a very good Bruce Wayne. Um, he really added, if you were to listen to who would be Bruce Wayne, that would be Bruce Wayne. And I really like Jensen Ackles' Bruce Wayne. He's definitely one of the better voices, and I appreciate that. So I hope he does voice him soon. Um, of course, Naya Rivera voiced Catwoman Selina Kyle, and I just remember that she unfortunately passed away last year. We all know the tragic accident. Glad that her son was saved, but it's all around tragic. But as one of her final roles, she did a great job voicing Selina Kyle. Not much to say with that. Uh, you had Josh Duhamel, who he's done various other things. He was in Jupiter's Legacy. Um, he's done a couple good movies, but he did a good job as Harvey Dent. I really connected with his Harvey Dent as well. Billy Burke as James Gordon. Um, he did a very good James Gordon. Really liked his James Gordon. Um, I think he might be one of my favorite James Gordon voices. Basically, he did a very good job as well. Then, of course, you have Titus Welliver as Carmine Falcone. He did a very good job as well. David Dasmalin as Calendar Man in his brief scene definitely owned that role. Troy Baker, of course. If you don't get Mark Hamill and you still want Mark Hamill, Troy Baker's your guy. And I thought, of course, he does a very good job as Joker. And we all know that he's had a variety of experience as Joker, so no problem. Um, the rest, um, another person who slightly underrated was Harvey Dent's wife, Gilda Dent, who's or fiance. In this case, he's his wife. Julian Nathanson did a very good job. Did a very good job, and she actually voiced Silver Banshee and Julie in Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. So this is not new for her as well. So I thought that she did a fantastic job as well. She's also done the Zeta Project back in the day uh, as well. So very nice. Where was I? And then, of course, Fred Tetrasko always has to do a Hulk character, so he did Solomon Grundy. But the voice cast I thought was very solid. They definitely conveyed their characters well, and I would say almost flawlessly. So yeah, that's it. So we get to let's get to the pros and cons of this film. The pros, the fight choreographies in this scene were well done. They were not many, but They were good. And that leads me to my other pro. The plot, the story, the pace of the storytelling was A1. And that's really why you didn't need to really have a lot of fight scenes. You're more focused on the mystery. You're focused on solving the puzzle. And that's really what Batman is at its core supposed to be. He's a detective, and this film definitely conveys it well. Um, Character interactions is another pro, whether it's between Harvey and Gilda, whether it's between Bruce and Selena, or whether it's between Bruce, Commissioner Gordon, and Harvey Dent, whether it's even between Carmine Falcone and his son Alberto as well, or even between the mob families. Everybody just, moves well, and it creates for a very good story. And I think that's important. Uh, I'd say that if I had a con for this, I think my only con might be that there wasn't enough, I guess, focus on maybe Harvey, maybe on certain aspects of the story because it. I guess this might be a slight knock on the progression, but it would cut to like, oh, one scene and then a couple months later another scene. It still flowed well, but sometimes you are craving more, but that's what a good film does. So yeah, definitely, I'd highly recommend this film. I give this a good. I give it a good 9/10. It's a solid film, and it shows that DC animated films are still doing good. But the most important thing is that you can bring back and make a good Batman film when you focus on his roots, and that's detective work. So, thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications to make sure you're notified. Comment below to give me your opinions on this film. Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people, because I want to discuss good films like this and get your views on them. So thank y'all for watching, and I hope to have more videos up when I can. Peace.